Across the South Coast, live from Solent University, you're listening to Solent Sports News.
Good afternoon, I'm Jamie Olashinsky with a roundup of your Solent Sports News stories. Southampton Women FC's reserve goalkeeper Leah Etheridge scored a winning goal in extra time. She came on as a striker in an emergency substitution and scored to send the Sirens through to the next round of the FA Cup. Here's Elle Reid with the story.
Today's Women's FA Cup first round match between Brentford and Southampton.
After its second postponement due to a flooded pitch, Southampton Women's FC travelled to Bedfont to play Brentford in the first round proper of the FA Cup. Despite the distractions of the Boeing 737s landing at next door's Heathrow Airport, Southampton sat comfortably in the first half with a Meg Wood hat-trick. But just before half-time, Brentford pulled one back through Nikki Wood. They later equalised to 3-3 and took the game to extra time. Southampton were forced to make an emergency substitution and brought on a reserve goalkeeper Leah Etheridge as a striker. Those were the sounds after Etheridge scored the winner in the 115th minute.
I still don't think I've come down off the ceiling in the last 24 hours. It's been absolutely crazy, the response that it's had on social media. Obviously the goal from Leah was a standout highlight, in which, rightly so.
That was Dees Kerrinson, Southampton's goalkeeper coach. Leah's stepdad and reserve coach, Gav Calder, was in tears at full time.
I was reasonably calm for the first 105 minutes. But then obviously we had the injury to Liv, and before I knew it, Leah was changing her goalkeeper kit for an outfield one. Then the nerves really kicked in for me and her mum. When Izzy broke down the wing and into the box, I could see Leah unmarked, and all I saw was the ball hitting the back of the net. Everyone just went crazy.
The magic of the FA Cup was on full display, but it ended Brentford's run on a sour note. Manager Carl Osborne praised their fans.
You could feel them behind us. You could feel them trying to really push the team on, and to be honest, it was working for most of the game. But the crowds that we've been building and the support that we've been getting has been brilliant, and we just want to keep building that fan base for ourselves and help us push up the leagues and enjoy the way that we play.
West Ham United youngster Divine Mabuma made a huge impact in their recent win over Burnley, with the striker playing a key role in their first goal. After this performance, many fans believe he should be starting in the absence of top scorer Jared Bowen. Our reporter Zach Miller has the details.
Great feat. What can he produce? It's magnificent. He's made a goal for West Ham United. Divine Mabama off the bench to score.
19-year-old Divine Mabama made a huge impact as he came on as a substitute in West Ham's game versus Burnley. It was his shot which was deflected off the defender to level the game for the Hammers, before eventually Thomas Souček won the game in the 91st minute.
Kudus with the ball over, and in it goes! Thomas Souček! There is a late twist, and it could well be heartbreak for Burnley.
The England under-20 striker came off the back of a great season in the under-18s and under-21s for West Ham last season, and will be looking to push for more first-team game time this season. After 4 losses in 6 games, West Ham have now won 2 games in a row. After beating both Burnley and Nottingham Forest, it puts them up to 9th place, only 4 points off 6th place Manchester United. With injuries to both vital players Jared Bowen and Mikel Antonio, Mabama could play a pivotal role. Despite being so much hype around Mabama, Southampton fan Cam Carey believes former Saints striker Danny Ings should be their first choice striker. Here he is to tell us why.
Well, as a Southampton season ticket holder for years, he's one of the best strikers that I've seen around. He's prolific. He's always in the right area. I don't know much about the other option, spoke about Mabama, but I would say Danny Ings is definitely he's a proper striker. I think the fact you're not getting the best out of him at the minute is a bit worrying, really, because for me, he does everything right as a striker. I think if you give him service, he will score goals. There's no question about it.
Gio Mackie from West Ham fan channel Hammers Chat showed his passion for the youngster to succeed.
I feel 90% of our Hammers Chat subscribers do not want Danny Ings to start on Saturday afternoon, and I feel Moyes got it wrong. I pray Mubama is now ahead of Danny Ings in the pecking order. I absolutely pray. Did Mubama score? Officially, no. But the movement to the front post for Kudus crossed it was fantastic. It forces O'Shea into doing something, following Mubama, stretching his legs out, and then it ends up in the back of the net. You don't have to score in order to impact the game, and Mubama certainly did that. I just pray now Mubama is ahead of Danny Ings in the pecking order.
The Hammers face Serbian team FK TSC away from home on Thursday night in the Europa League. Many fans are hoping Mubama gets the start they feel he deserves.
And Tottenham Hotspur lost by 2-1 against Aston Villa on Sunday, despite dominating large parts of the game. They're now the 5th team to join the exclusive club of losing 3 games on the bounce after taking the lead in all of them. Nathan Wallen reports.
Back to Watkins, lovely build-up, fabulous finish, and Villa lead.
That was the sound of Aston Villa striker Ollie Watkins netting his second of the game to snatch all 3 points for the Villains against Spurs. Ange Postecoglou's side were defeated 2-1 and had seen them fall to 5th in the Premier League table. Tottenham have become only the 5th side in Premier League history to lose 3 consecutive games despite taking the lead in each one. They are the first team to do this since Leicester City in 2014. Despite losing the match to Villa, manager Postecoglou was disappointed for the fans and his players because he thought his side played well and deserved something out of the game.
The result is disappointing for our fans, but particularly for our players, because I thought the way they played today and the kind of intent they showed, we deserved to get something out of that game.
Spurs dominated the fixture with 68% possession and created 18 shots. However, they failed to capitalise with their striker Son Heung-min scoring 3 goals that were all ruled offside.
Now they've arguably hit their first road bump.
That was the words of Seb Jenkins, freelance journalist and chief writer for the Spurs Web. He believes that the absence of key first-team starters and lack of quality squad depth has been the key factor for Tottenham's recent defeats.
Started the season really well. They won 8 and drew 2 from their first 10 games. But Tottenham's problem in the past 5 years, arguably, has been depth. As soon as you take a few of those first-team players out, the players that he has on the bench are nowhere near as adapted to his style of play, I think. Against Aston Villa, Tottenham were without 6 starters from the last time they won a game.
Football pundit and retired goalkeeper Shaka Hislop believes that Spurs were unlucky against Aston Villa and that they're heading in the right direction still under Postecoglou.
They have untold injuries as we know, but their style doesn't change.
Spurs will have the chance to bounce back to winning ways next week, but they face a huge challenge against Manchester City, who will be chasing the top spot in the Premier League.
And Fulham beat Wolverhampton Wanderers 3-2 in a game full of controversial VAR calls. Wolves fans are angry with officials and now want VAR to be scrapped. Here's Diogo with more.
Having VAR decisions and penalties, it's happened to us again tonight. Stuart Atwell again on VAR, couldn't wait to get involved.
Wolves supporters are outraged after they feel as if they have been done by VAR once again. Vinicius not being sent off despite headbutting the opposition. Tim Ream not sent off after bringing a man down in the box after already having a yellow card. Fulham receiving 2 controversial penalties. These are just a few of the decisions that went against Wolverhampton Wanderers last night's match, where they lost 3-2 at Craven Cottage. A mid-table clash where every point matters. These small decisions can have a big impact on the club's season. As a result of this, the Cottagers have caught up to the Wanderers, and now they both have 15 points in the table. VAR has been controversial since the minute it was introduced, but now, after the recent fixtures of Wolves against Fulham and Arsenal against Newcastle, many managers are now pleading for improvements or its removal. Gary O'Neill, despite feeling like his side have been let down by the officials, kept composed by being calm and honest about the situation. Here's what the Wolves manager himself had to say.
I've always been for VAR, but I think it's causing a big problem at the moment. The fact that the first one's not deemed a clear and obvious area, and the second one is, I just think VAR has cost us there. Maybe tonight has finally turned me against VAR when I thought it would probably help, but it doesn't seem to be.
Many of the Wolves supporters have claimed that the man of the match tonight was not a player on the pitch, but in fact Michael Salisbury, the referee himself. This seems to be a reoccurring theme for Wolves this season. This is what Harry Mansell, Wolverhampton Wanderers content creator, had to say.
Like I said, is there any point even talking about the performance? Because all the story is about horrendous VAR decisions against Wolves again. I'm losing count now. Is that 6 or 7 we've had go against us now? What do you do? How are we meant to win games or collect points to go up the league if we've got the officials against us?
We spoke to a Fulham fan who agreed that the decisions were controversial. This is his take on the game.
Hi, Billy Hunter. I'm a big Fulham fan here. Big 3 points against Wolves on Monday night. Very controversial penalties, but right now we get what we're given.
So, should VAR be changed then, or just completely abolished? That's all from me today. I've been Diogo Andrade. See you next time on Solent Sports News.
And into local football, there are exciting times ahead for Winchester City, as they were granted permission for their stadium to be redeveloped. The plans see a change to a new 4G playing surface as of next season. Here's Jamie Somerville with more.
It's been announced that Winchester City Football Club have been given permission to lay a 4G pitch at their home ground, the Charters Community Stadium, for next season. This allows the club to avoid further postponements due to the current pitch being waterlogged. The new pitch is also expected to help the team play their brand of football. Ryan Price is a goalkeeper and also coach at the club. He thinks it aligns well with the club's ambitions.
The club want to keep progressing. Every year since the gaffers come into the football club, we've gone better and better and better and better every season, and now this is just another step in the right direction.
And for a club that sits second in the league on away form and second bottom on home form, Winchester certainly hope they can reap the rewards at home games.
Like I say, it gives us a platform and a base to be proud of and play the sort of football that we want to play with. There's no hiding behind it. Our pitch isn't the best. Probably our home record speaks for that. We've struggled at home. We go away to places that have nice pitches and we do really well. So hopefully now we'll get a pitch that we can play our expanded football on, our brand of football that the gaffer wants to play, and secure ourselves as a Southern League team for the future, and then see where we go on from there.
Graduate of the club's youth team, Henry Brooks, says it's been a dream for the club and he hopes it can change their fortunes at home.
We do struggle with the pitch sometimes. We make do with what we've got. Although it's obviously not the greatest compared to some teams in our league, I think the pitch being redone this season is what we've all been waiting for and looking forward to. And I think with the quality we've got in the team and the ball players we have, I think the 3G and the 4G will really give us that step up to compete at home.
Brooks also explains the impact the new pitch will have on the club at all levels.
I mean, playing on a surface that you can rely on being flat, zippy, just how Winch want to play. I think it means that the youth teams especially, as well as the first team, we can crack down on playing the type of football we want to play, popping the ball about, triangles. And yeah, I think for the future of the club in general with this pitch, there's so much going forward for us, and I think everyone's looking forward to it.
You would think that cricket looks like a low-risk sport, but it is actually one of the most dangerous ball sports to play. From concussions, broken hands, and even threatening lives, injuries affect all cricketers, no matter the level. Here's Rochelle Barnum with the story.
Despite being a seemingly slow and tedious sport, cricket comes with unpleasant injuries, just like a contact sport from football to rugby.
My name is Casey Laird and I currently play for Fox Lodge Cricket Club and the North West Cricket Union as an international prospect. I recently had an injury to the head, 6 weeks out, probably should be more. When it comes to batting against the ball, not wearing a helmet is probably one of the most dangerous things that you could do. I have been guilty of this.
The most common injury nowadays in cricket is a painful hamstring strain, which can keep you out of the sport from a few days to a week or so. but the most severe is a lumbar stress fracture, which can keep you out of cricket for up to 6 to 8 weeks. Here is Chloe Geddes saying how she thinks cricket injuries aren't that severe.
I don't think it is a high contact sport because I played it for 5 years and I didn't get injured. They're just all babies, they need to toughen up a little bit.
One of the worst injuries I've probably witnessed is a guy breaking all 5 of his fingers trying to catch a ball, purely down to how fast the ball was going. So as you can tell, cricket is quite a dangerous sport.
With the heavy equipment and high pressure that comes during a game, injuries are prone to happen, however they aren't spoken about like an ACL injury in football. In cricket, acute injuries are most common with 64 to 76%, then comes acute on-chronic injuries with 16 to 22.8%, and lastly are chronic injuries at 8 to 22%.
Yeah, he's hit the ball in the air to the boundary, the opposition player has gone to catch it, it's quite high. It's coming down, he's put his hands up and it's gone straight through his hands and smashed him in the face. He finished the game. I think he was going to go off and get it checked out afterwards because it looked like it fractured his cheekbone.
That was Rob Barham talking about a cricket injury that he has witnessed whilst playing cricket. At the Cricket World Cup openers in the autumn, Australia had problems with the fact that they were missing Travis Head due to a hand fracture, leaving David Warner in search for a partner. In comparison to a sport like football, injuries aren't voiced in the media for cricket. If a major player was injured going into the FIFA World Cup, everyone and their wife would know about it.
The 2023 Formula 1 campaign came to a close this weekend, with Max Verstappen taking the championship yet again. This is the Dutchman's third consecutive driver's title at just 26 years of age. Reporter Charlie Bender takes a look back on the season.
Max Verstappen is the world champion of 2023. He is champion of the world.
The 2023 F1 season came to an end this weekend, with the three-time champion Max Verstappen winning a record-breaking 19th race of the season at Abu Dhabi. The Dutchman broke every record in the book this year, including most consecutive wins in a row, the first driver to lead over 1,000 laps, most consecutive points scored, and most pit stops by a winning driver in one race. However, contrary to popular belief, Verstappen wasn't the only driver in F1 this campaign, as there were some incredible battles across the grid. The battle for fourth went down to the wire as Fernando Alonso pipped Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz. And in the constructors, Mercedes just beat Ferrari by 3 points to second place and an extra £10 million in prize money. And it wasn't just rivalries at the top of the order. Towards the back of the grid, Williams and AlphaTauri were in heated competition for 7th, with the team from Oxfordshire coming out on top.
I'm Andy Moore, I'm an F1 TikTok influencer. I think this has been the most exciting season I've ever seen in my life. Max Verstappen is getting the wins, but there's been a load of different drivers getting podiums. This is the racing I like to see.
However, for the first time since 2018, F1 owners Liberty Media have seen social engagement drop, with mentions declining by 70%, new followers down by 50%, and social reach down by 65%. Many fans have found the 2023 season boring due to the Verstappen dominance and the lack of a battle for the championship. One supporter who feels this way is Richard Olashinsky.
It's a bit boring really with Verstappen winning everything. Needs to be a bit more competitive. Need to bring back refueling so there's loads of more action in it.
Despite fan interest reducing, there were still some standout moments, such as newcomer Oscar Piastri winning the Qatar sprint race and becoming the first rookie since Lewis Hamilton to pick up multiple podiums, and Sainz winning the Singapore Grand Prix and ending Red Bull's winning streak. Ika Sola, an F1 fan that was at Silverstone this year, said his favourite moment of the season was
McLaren's resurgence at Silverstone, getting a P2 and P3 in qualifying and then, somehow leading the race for a bit. Probably would have got 2 cars on the podium if it wasn't for an unlucky safety car.
Charlie Bender, Solent Sports News.
That's all from us for now. Keep up to date on solentsportsnews.com. I've been Jamie Olashinsky. Have yourself a good evening.